The last bit of news we have is Chris Froome, 37 years old. He's in his second year at the unknown length Israel Premier Tech deal, and he did his best ever performance by far, like not even close, at the Mercan Tour Classic Alpes Maritimes on, I think it was Tuesday, and then Apennina was on Thursday, the two 1-1 1.pro races to keep us entertained. And you might be thinking, come on, 11th at Mercan Tour Classic Alpes Maritimes, it's a 1-1 race. Have a look at the profile. It's like a Tour de France mountain stage in a one-day race. It's a beautiful little race. They do the Colmienne, which I think we've seen in Paris-Nice. And Lenny Martinez did a really hard pace on the climb. Froome seemed to do his own pace. And I think the calculations were that he did like 5.8 watts per kilo for like 35 minutes, which is, from where we've come from, that ain't Tour de France winning shape. But that's like a competent rider again. He looks visibly skinnier. What do you think they should do with him, Benji? Like, do they now say, okay, Tour de France is on? What would you do if you were Israel with him? By the way, they won that race 1-2 with Fuglsang Woods, so points are coming thick and fast for them.
Yes, certainly. But when it comes to Froome itself, it's a difficult situation, because on one end you have the exposure that everybody keeps saying that is gigantic. I think the exposure is definitely there, but there needs to be a Froome on the screen for that exposure to be happening.
Exactly.
And now he's competent enough to be, he's as a rider in the peloton at current form, not necessarily when it comes to his intelligence. I'm not insulting him here. Now he's in a competent form to be able to show himself in races, I dare to say. And that exposure can come from those performances. And then when we look at American Tour, for example, that's 11th, but it's still behind Michel Ries, for example. Yeah, Michel Ries is a young rider that can climb pretty well, but those are not the names that you can say if Froome goes into a Tour de France breakaway. I'm not sure those numbers can make him compete for a stage, for example. So I'm kind of on the edge there. I feel like I haven't looked at Israel's team enough to say these riders need to go, these riders don't need to go, but I'm pretty sure their team will include the likes of a Woods and a Fuglsang. And if that is the case, then adding Froome to that as well, what role will he play? Will he just be a domestique? It's possible. Like, I find it very unlikely that they don't send him to the Tour, to be honest.
I think it's probably worth it as a reward, to be honest. He's kept grinding. I mean, yes, he lost 3 minutes to Steph Kras on the climb. Like, you ain't coming top 5 in the Tour or top 10 in the Tour like that, but unless he might completely bomb in the Dauphiné. But you have to remember, last year, he was getting dropped on the climb Groenewegen got dropped on today in the Dauphiné. He got dropped on the climby sprinty boy stages, right? And now he's doing like a competent, good climbing performance.
Yep.
That's a huge step up. I don't know if he has any more weight to lose. He looks paper thin, and Benji's right. To win Tour de France stage, in a mountain stage, you need, from the break, you need, like Danny Martinez Puigmarí. I remember Kemner saying in the interview, it's like, I was just sitting on his wheel, like, what the fuck? And like Martinez now, Ineos maybe best GC leader, and that was to win a Puigmarí from the break. Vuelta's different. Froome, at that shape, good enough to win a Vuelta stage. Angel Madrazo beat Jose Herrada in a Vuelta stage uphill. Like, it's possible from the right break. But it's really good to see. Like, I don't think, I've said before, he's not going back to that level. Even if peak Froome, by the way, even if Froome was peak Sky Froome, he still couldn't win the Tour on Israel. The equipment, everything, it's not possible. So, but it's good to see. And I go to bed every day. Every day I go to bed and I pray as a rights holder, please can Chris Froome do stuff and be good, because it's good for the sport. Like, he's a huge name. Same with Sagan. But yeah, any last thoughts on Froome? Do you think, where do you think he goes on this Dauphiné mountain stage? It's a really hard mountain stage. Do you reckon he top 15, 20?
Oh, like, the thing with Froome as well in the history is that he was never that great outside of his main goals of the season. Yes, he had moments where he was good at the Tirreno, for example, but some of his preparation races were not that extreme. And then we look at this Dauphiné, I'm like, on paper, I'm expecting a similar performance to Mercan Tour then, unless he expanded his skills since then once again, if he improved once again in form, I'm not sure if I can say top 15, top 20. It depends on what role he does. Because, like, do you think he's actually going to go for GC himself here at this race? His team doesn't have any other GC rider he can try, I guess. And if that's the case,
100%.
then top 25.
100%.
I don't dare to say much more at the moment, but I hope that he does well. Just because, like, it's not fun to see someone try so much when it comes to going back from an injury and not really succeeding in that sense. So I'd love to see Froome do something pretty strong at some point.
Yeah, and as I said at the start of this segment, best performance in an Israel jersey. He was doing better performances in an Ineos jersey post crash at either Route d'Occitanie. He like reduced the group to like 10 guys on a mountain stage, crazy performance post crash, but it was barely televised. I don't think there's just iPhone footage of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that climb I referred to, 11.5 Ks, 9%. You can't hide there. The watts per kilo will out. So we'll see there. But yeah, hopefully top 15, top 20. I mentioned our show partners Zwift. If you're getting into the winter, I believe I've heard it's freezing conditions down in Australia right now. Then Zwift is your perfect online cycling platform to keep on top of your fitness goals. You can go to Zwift.com through the link down below for a free 7-day trial. There's meetups, workouts, pace partners, etc., to keep you entertained and enthused. And we can highly recommend Zwift for your indoor cycling experience.